First, I'm sure you're aware that I operate under state law and that I have to deal with financial institutions that have been approved by the state. And 99% of all credit unions are not on that list, just so you know that up front. Also, we have about $59 million invested. None of that, zero, is in Bank of America. I have no investments at all with Bank of America. The preponderance of other than the state pool, which I need to keep for liquidity so I can move money in and out as agencies need it. But the preponderance of our CDs, 99% of them are at Kitsap Bank because we like doing business with them and they honestly provide us an excellent rate. So it's a symbiotic relationship. As far as the money I do have in Bank of America, it is, as Doug stated, it is transitory. It's in there to cover the checks that we write as a county, that the hospital writes, that the library writes, that the fire districts write. It's in there for a day and it's gone. So it's not like I'm investing a great deal of money in the Bank of America. But that being said, I do have a contract with them that's good through the end of 2013, which I could theoretically break early. However, this year, in fact, we've started now, we are converting to a brand new software system for my office and for the assessor's office to handle all taxation and all assessment. And it's going to be huge. It's a huge, we've had the same system for over 25 years, so this conversion is going to be very time consuming. And I opted not to go out for an RFP and manage an RFP process at the same time I'm managing a data conversion process. Which is why when I met with Rochelle back in April and May, I committed then that this next summer I will go out for an RFP and I will put it out to every financial institution in the county that's on the public depository list authorized by the state. And the one that can best meet all our needs at the best price is the one that will be selected. So if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So we'll open stack to questions. And Michelle and then Barbara.
I didn't have a question, more of a comment about the money that is in Bank of America. My concern isn't so much with money in savings, but the fees that we're paying to Bank of America by using their services.
And we do pay about $2,200 a month, which is pretty comparable. We would pay that with any of the major financial institutions.
Yes.
Okay.
My concern is in the RFP, if we are looking just at the bottom line and not at the ethics of the companies or the impact of the companies, the banks that are possible there. The big banks are going to be able to underwrite our smaller local state charter banks anytime. So you mentioned that that's what you're going to be going through and picking the best one at the best price. I would ask you to make sure that you also consider what's best for the community, not just the best bottom line, but what's best for the community.
Okay, I will give that some consideration. I think ethics is kind of a judgment, and I don't know that we could, if there's something specific we could say that would bring someone in or bring someone out, but I'll certainly give that a great deal of thought.
When you said that an RFP would be sent out in summer?
Yes.
Was that this past summer?
No, June 13th. It will be sent out.
Next summer?
Right.
Because we met with you in May, so
Yes.
it'll be a whole year.
Right.
Secondly, in terms of the economics of it, if you look at only internal costs to the county, it's fairly simple in some ways to say what's best economically. But in doing so, you're externalizing other costs. Bank of America, it has global effects, and it harms people globally. By acting locally in favor of Bank of America, I would say that we're harming people across the globe. And what I would ask you to do is to consider taking into account those external costs human loss and environmental loss globally. By thinking globally and acting locally, we can change the world for the better. Occupy, and us, and I hope all human-hearted people would ask our county government, our city government, our state government, our national governments to do better and to take those things into consideration.
You can respond if you like, or we'll go to another there. And then
When you're evaluating the RFPs, an additional way, in addition to just cost, would be what amount of that money is going to be found into the local community. And on that basis, the judgment might be very different from just lowest cost. Because what really is important is keeping these funds within Washington State, hopefully within Jefferson County.
So Sydney, then Michelle, then Doug.
Yeah, my question would be, as the transitory on checking accounts and that sort of thing, that nowadays with modern computers, Cray and otherwise do better, it's arbitraging speed. I know, I'm in a credit union, going credit union, I'm going to move over here. They, for a while, as a promotional online, what they actually did was they would pay the same amount of interest on a checking account. Because with modern electronics, it really doesn't matter. That money comes in and goes out, and they can use that just as though it was a savings account. So I'm wondering how much money, if it's 1% of 59 million, but I'll ask you, how much money is in that transitory? Is that, I'm wondering.
About $1 million a day.
Yeah, about maybe a day. Thank you.
All right, and Michelle and Doug.
One point on that is that the county's accounts are treated differently than personal accounts, just because of it. And so we don't get, like the county can't get the deals that we personally could get with accounts. And they also have fees that we don't necessarily have as personal. And my other point of information, I guess, and I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe First Federal and maybe Kitsap were willing to pretty much match Bank of America's pricing so that the relevance of, well, it might cost us a little bit more to bank with a local one, but it'll benefit the community. I don't believe it will cost us more. Is that? I think that is what they have told us. So it's the same price.
I can put a point of information out there. I met with First Federal's local bank manager, just to bounce off statements we had heard about that First Federal is not capable of handling the county banking system. And they were kind of flabbergasted. They were like, we are happy. They actually, I was like, could you call Judy and talk about services? And they were basically like, I mean, really, she needs to ask us. If she ever asks us, we'd be happy to give you all the information you need. And I believe, we go into more information on Kitsap. I believe Kitsap said a very similar thing. They were very receptive to doing everything they can to meet the county's banking needs. Doug's next.
There is a movement at the state legislature to have a state chartered institution, a state bank, that perhaps could be a bank that would serve all of the taxing districts of Washington State, like Bank of America does now. Bank of America is a clearinghouse for the whole state, but our preference is that we as a people move away from the dependence on the large capital formations and take advantage of the kinds of benefits that come from having more local control with the cash flow building our local economy.